Hello, welcome to Learning to Drum. I'm your host, Adam Tevlin, and last week we completed solo number 2 together at 75 beats per minute. Thank you for joining me again. We're here to learn 16th notes. Without further ado, we have a lot of material to cover this episode. Grab your sticks and pad and let's get started. Okay, if we turn to page 20, study number 7, we'll see that we'll be playing with quarter notes and rests, eighth notes, and 16th notes. And then the rudiment featured would be the double stroke roll. In exercise number 1, you'll see that the sticking in that is right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Now, before we get into all that, remember what 16th notes look like? They either are by themselves with the 2 flags, or they're grouped together with 2 beams. And how we count quarter notes again is the 1, 2, 3, 4 eighth notes would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and now 16th notes, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and we still had the 1, 2, 3, 4 in there. We had the ands, and now we're having the e's and the uhs. So if you think counting was hard by now, it gets a little bit more difficult, but I guarantee you if you take your time with it, go slow, you'll start to train yourself and making this a very comfortable system to adopt. And again, I recommend 2 count when we're playing this music. But let's just try it here, just number 1 at 60, and then we're going to increase the pace from 2 on. Okay, sticks in the hand, American grip, here we go. 1E and 2E and double stroke and play E and Oh, now lead with the left. I guess I repeated that too much. That's okay. You get the idea. And I'll each. There we go. And stop. All right. I actually repeated each one twice. That's okay. You get to see what that double stroke roll actually would not look like on paper. It's just a way to get you to stick things differently using 16th notes. Now normally we're going to be sticking our 16th notes going right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. What rudiment was that? Do you remember? The single stroke roll. Right. So each one gets 1 hit. Okay. One of the good books that I've learned out of, one of the great books actually, is a book called Stick Control by George Lawrence Stone. And you remember we talked about George Lawrence Stone in the very second episode of the drum program here on Learning to Drum. And he talked about obviously the free stroke. Well, in this book, and I have it actually right up there, and we'll just pull it out so you can see what it looks like. Mine's a little tattered and used and abused. It's gotten some use out of it. And it's really good because it goes in. Well, I don't know if I can show you I'll give you a quick peek of all the stickings. And all that was right there on that page is single strokes or doubles or a combination of those, but they were all straight eighth notes. And it can kind of be thought about here in 16th notes as well. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is at that exercise number 1, this is also in stick control where you're going doubles, leading with the right. 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2 for the left. Right? Okay, so it was a really, really good book to go through. So in number 2 on down, we're still in the alternate sticking, which we're trying to do everything right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay, so now going into number 2, I'm going to speed up my metronome to 75 beats per minute. And we have here 1E and 2E and 3E and 4 and 1E and 2E and 3E and right, left. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Okay, so let's try that. And we'll do repeats, so that way it's only 2 measures, so I don't think we'll be too far off. Here we go. 1, 2, and ready, and a go, and a 1. Okay, no big deal. All right, so number 3, we have right, left, right, left, right, left, right, or 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 and. Now in those eighth notes, I'll still count E and 1 E and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 and a. But I've done it so long that I don't really have to do that as much, but that's something that you're going to have to do when you're playing on your own. Number 3, here we go. 1, 2, 1 and 2 E and a ready and a go E and a 1. 2 and 3 E and a 4 and. Okay? All right, that might be a little too fast for you. I'm kind of thinking that might be. Let's slow it back down to 60. And that way we can, as a matter of fact, this is how I would do it if I were you. I know this might be a little bit too much to bite off right off the bat, but let's just try 45 beats per minute. And we'll take it at number 2. 1 E and a 2 E and you'll see what I'm talking about. And 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, so that might be at your pace, but some of you might be able to keep up. So I'm going to jump it back up to 75 beats per minute, and we're going to continue in number 4. Okay, here we go, number 4. 1, 2, 1 E and a 2 E and a right, left, play and a. Okay, no big deal. All right, number 5, we're going to have a quarter rest there in the downbeat of 1. Again, alternate sticking, and we'll play it twice through. Here we go. 2, ready, and a go. And 1 E and a. And a. And a. And a. Okay, so 1 E and a. So notice how I counted that quarter rest as 1 E and a. Not only does that give me that full value of the rest, but it preps me on how fast those 16 notes are going to go. Remember we talked about subdividing, and I'm like, okay, or 1 and 2 and 3, okay? Anything to keep that eighth note pulse, or in this case right now we're doing 16th notes. So from there we'll go to number 6, which is fairly simple. Here we go. 2, ready, and go. And E and a. E and a. E and a. Okay? Yeah, so notice how I said E and a after that quarter note. So again, you want to make sure you're giving it the full value. I see a lot of students who would play number 6 like this. 1, and a, 2. And you'd rip off the quarter note, and I always tell them, don't rip off the quarter note. It has to have its full value. Okay, let's move on. All right, number 7. Okay, we got a quarter rest again on the downbeat of 2 this time. And here we go. 2, 1 E and a 2 E and a ready and a play. And 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4. Not too bad. Okay, number 8, quarter rest now on the downbeat of 3, and we have eighth notes on downbeat of 4, and we'll see how this sounds. 2, here we go. And 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, so do I expect you to do that? No, but when you're going slower, like at that 45 beats per minute, you'll have a much easier time. So obviously, I'm sure you're not ready for 75 beats per minute right now, but go back, work on it starting at 45 or even slower if you have to. Then you can speed up to that 75 and play along with me in this episode. Remember, we're at your own pace. All right. So hopefully you folks are able to digest that, the concept of 16th notes. Remember, they're twice as fast as eighth notes or 4 times as fast as the quarter notes. And then, of course, we want to remember to count and make sure we know where we're at in the measure. All right, now moving on. Turn the page to page 21. And there we have the 16th note warm-up. Since I'm right-handed, the rule of thumb is that the downbeats of 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as the upbeats, the ands, right, is all in the right hand, and all the e's and the uhs are in the left hand. And what I want to make sure I do, now if I was left-handed, I would do the opposite, unless if it was a student of mine going into the marching band. You know, if this person would not have a desire to be in marching band or anything like that, drum corps, then I would allow them to lead with the left hand. There's a lot of left-handed great players out there. The idea of natural sticking is that, you know, I used to call this the right-hand lead method. And all that means is that, obviously, like I said before, all the downbeats and the upbeats are on the right hand, all the e's and the uhs are in the left hand. Also, I talk about in this warm-up, and I've alluded to this in the previous episodes, is instead of reading these rhythmic figures as note by note, and you might even be wondering, you know, how can I read so fast? How can anybody read that fast? You get used to it. It's the same thing with learning the alphabet. You learn the alphabet, and you learn those different sounds those letters make. And you notice that those different sounds make up actually words. And those words make up sentences or thoughts. So the same thing applies with music, okay? Is that I call, and it's not really I don't think it's an actual term, but I used to call this just to describe what I'm talking about to students, which is called a rhythmical cell. Now, what is a rhythmical cell? A rhythmical cell is any combination of notes that are inside of one beat. In this case, we're in the time signature of 4/4. So we have 4 beats to a measure, and each one of those groups of notes that you're seeing here in this warm-up equals 1 beat. Okay? And with that, and I'm not trying to say memorize these rhythms and how they sound, okay? But I do want to say that after a while, just like reading a book and learning how to read, you're not having to sound out those letters to make the words anymore. Like when a kid starts out to read, and they might sound out that the you know, cat, you know, sounding out those letters to make those words. After a while, they're like, oh, the cat played ball. Play, play, play. You know what I mean? So the same thing applies to reading music, and I try to tell people, just take a step back. Once you're starting to learn this and getting the hang of this, take a step back and look at these as words of a musical phrase rather than note for note that make up those words, or rhythmical cells. All right, we're just going to get through the first 4 lines of the 16th note warm-up. That way we can just digest the concepts, because it gives you a measure of 16th notes, and then it gives you a measure of one version of the rhythmical cell. Now when you look at that, that rhythm would be counted on the second measure of that first line is 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. And I made the silent because where's the The is inside that 8th note. Okay, so another thing I wanted to point out, aside from you get a measure of 16th notes and then you get a measure of that rhythmical cell, whichever it is that if you look at the 4th line, because we're going to be ending there on the second measure of the 4th line, is there's a new type of rest that we're going to learn actually a little bit later down the road, but we will have to learn it kind of now, which I think by now when you experience 8th rests or quarter rests or half rests or whole rests, you're going to get the concept of here on this 16th rest, you know, because it has the 2 flags instead of the 1 flag like the 8th note. Kind of sometimes looks like a 7, I guess. But this is a 16th note rest, and so we're going to rest for that duration of time. In other words, we're going to be silent on the downbeat of 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're coming in on the E of 1 and the E of 2 and the E of 3 and the E 4. Well, let's do this at 60 beats per minute, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. Not too fast, okay? Now these are all free strokes until you get to sorry. Just watch how I play it. 2, 1 E and a 2 E and a ready and a go E and a 2, 3, 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E, a 2 E, a 3 E, a 4 E, a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, okay? All right, so that's all we have to do now. If you have to take it slower, go for it. 40, it sounds like this. And you can really feel what's going on there in those different strokes. Let's dissect number 1, 2, and ready, and go. Free strokes, and free stroke, free stroke, free stroke, right? 3 E and 4 stroke. Here we go. 1 E downstroke, 1 downstroke, 1 downstroke, free down, down. Okay, so this is where you get the style and technique happening, and there are ways of approaching it to where you can just go all free strokes, dun, 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 dun. If you want to do it like that, that's fine. But it's going to be harder for you if you ever wanted to get in a marching band or drum corps, or being able to control those strokes when you really need to get down. Dun, 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 dun. Now I'm ready for anything. Let's say, for instance, that I don't play this again afterwards, and I'm playing something very soft, you know, so right? Okay, so that's all I'm saying. The reason why I'm introducing this style to you, and it's a gelatin mold effect, because once you've done it and once you get that discipline of doing it, the muscle memory to do it, then you can release that gelatin mold. And if you have to go to the, which I do in concert band or orchestra, okay? I play like this all the time in concert band, or actually the orchestra. Okay, so let's try that at 40 beats per minute, and hopefully you can hang with me, and we'll go from there. 2 E and free stroke, play E and 2, 3 E and 4 E and right, left, right. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 oops, 4 E and okay. Good. So that is the 16-note warm-up at 45 beats per minute, the first half, and we're going to learn the second half next week. Be sure to continue to practice on your flams, your flam taps, your single stroke roll, double stroke roll, 8 on the hand, accent exercise in one hand. We're going to continue on to other things here, and it start to get more challenging, so I hope you can keep up with us. And next week we're going to be learning a new rudiment. That's right, we're going to have a total of 5 rudiments by next week. Thank you so much for joining me this week on Learning the Drum. I'm your host, Adam Tevlin. Make sure you continue to practice. We'll see you next week, and always remember to keep swinging those sticks.